Welcome to Quack Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, and today, let's talk about some of the brand new baddies we have, the brand new ruffians we have in Townsfolk Tussle. Now, as you all know, there's a lot of cool things happening with the various different expansion packs they have, but we have one of the expansion packs with 4 ruffians that we've been able to fight against, and we have a full roster of gameplay content coming out over on the main channel. So, now, we get a chance to dive into Tartar Fishboy, the Door Knockers, Miss Falls & Co., and Patches to talk to you about how they play, what some of the unique abilities or effects they have, the way that they interact with you, different from some of the base game creatures that you might be fighting. Now, this is by far not all that this expansion or game has to offer. It's only one little piece that I want to showcase. Some of the other stuff they have is roll cards, new special powers and abilities, tons of items that actually pop down onto the board, new terrain cards, a new way to play the game that speeds it up just a little bit, brand new heroes that you're actually able to play as, or townsfolk that you're actually able to play as. Like I already said, new terrain cards. There's other things as well. Okay, let's talk about the first one that I think everyone is invested in, Mr. Patches, the Stray. Patches has wandered the streets of Misty Bluff for years, but recently found a new home in Eureka Springs' back alley. Don't you think he's adorable? Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You're not even sure he's a cat. Well, maybe you're onto something. Patches seems like a cat, but some things just don't add up. Like how he's been caught walking upright, brandishing a knife and whispering threats at passerbyers. If the old sheriff were here, he wouldn't let this flea-infested stray dig its claws too deep into Eureka Springs. Maybe it'd be best to shoo this fellow out of here before he causes too much trouble. So, Patches is a cat. Well, at least as far as you know, you're going to be fighting him and removing various different sections of his costume. That's the entire objective of the game. He's going to have a low health and very few breaking points, but you're going to be ripping off pieces of his costume. His entire AI deck is going to be built around whether or not certain sections of his costume are or are not revealed. He will do different things depending on which ones are or are not revealed. It's a very interesting fight, and you're not exactly sure which thing you should be concerned about or which thing you should be messing with. Like I said, small health, but very, very hard. You have to go through his entire 9 lives. So you actually have to bring him down to 0 health a total of 9 times, which means at a 4-player game, we had to deal with 27 total hit points, which is a lot for a ruffian. Weakness, sticky costume. You slathered Patch's costume with your consumable, leaving it sticky and matted. Lower the ruffian's max HP by 1 for the fight. So a good way to just like sub out is to wipe some gear on him. You might gain some special abilities from him, one of which could be like a hairball that lets you jump back into the game. And then we have the 4 different levels: Chump, Hooligan, Troublemaker, and Final Fight. He'll just get more strong as time goes on. Here's the back of his board. The setup is going to be very centralized, kind of around a back alley here. And you'll have some different types of terrain if you're fighting him at his boss mode. I don't want to spoil a lot of the boss content, so I'm going to step him over to the side. The thing that's unique about Patches is honestly the way that you're actually fighting and removing pieces of his costume as you play. Tartar Fishboy. Tartar once worked happily alongside his twin brother as a fisherman in Eureka Springs, but he had a dark secret, an insatiable hunger for more than just fish. After one too many townsfolk went missing near Tartar's pond, the old sheriff connected the dots and exiled him from the town. Since then, Tartar has honed his fishing skills in the waterways of Sprinkle Falls, consuming passerbyers foolish enough to be chased by his bait, to chase his bait. With word of the old sheriff's demise, Tartar is eager to return to Eureka Springs and see his old and now unprotected neighbors. Just look at the size of that lad now. A steady diet of townfolk really does wonders for the body. This is a very big, very aggressive fish boy who is going to be casting out his lure, roping you in with it. So if you're adjacent to or near that sandwich that gets thrown out, you then get pulled right next to him, and then he's going to be spreading water to the regions that are all around him. So he actually works as a flooding mechanic, and you will take damage if you happen to be in the water or in the pond around him. His artwork here is horrible. You have a completely passed away townsfolk with his lip hooked on a beautiful bait witch. And that's the main operating thing. The reason why this Fishboy here is different is the combination of a reel that's pulling you in, so it's kind of, you have to be dodging that as you try to fight him, along with the river and the water that's flooding onto the shore of the Eureka Springs. Makes it so that he's very dangerous to fight, but you almost have to be in an area that is dangerous in order to actually take him down. You also have a giant ditch over here, which can fill with water as you're stuck down in it, which is not preferable. The door knockers, tainted salesmen. Oh my goodness. Are those cubes? Word of the glorious product has spread across the hose lands like wildfire. A miracle device that brings endless happiness and success, peddled by the enthusiastic salesmen known as the door knockers. Sure, no one knows how the cube works, or why the door knockers don't require payment for it, or why the cube leaves your body the moment you touch it, why the color leaves your body the moment you touch one. But hey, there's got to be a reason it's so popular, right? We've got the salesman knocking at the town gate, so why not listen to what these charming gentlemen have to say? This is a very fun event. This is one of the ones that we fought at level 4, so I don't know exactly what changes, but the core concept is that they're going to be spreading belief tokens and cubes around the table. If you have too many belief tokens, you'll take a little bonus card here called a strange cube. A strange cube makes it so that you are now interested in spreading the good word of the strange cube to everyone else around the table. This means that you're no longer effective for the fight, and someone has to do damage to you for you to remove all of your belief tokens and snap you out of whatever it is you've been convinced of, or at least the green glowing jelly cube of microwave ambition that's sucked into you. Now, the artwork here looks like you're being handed the most depressed, miserable potential cube that's absorbing part of your soul, and you're just smiling forward. This is a very interesting fight because it sometimes turns the townsfolk against each other in the process of fighting each other. On the back here, you can see the area, very crowded location here, a great buggy that can drive across the land, and a very powerful set of ruffians. Miss Falls and Co., potentially the saddest story in this game so far. Miss Falls has been a docile, friendly citizen of Sprinkle Falls for years, but suffers from quite a unique predicament. Day in and day out, she's zapped by the company, aka the town's troublesome storm clouds. Thanks to her tall and water-rich physique, the company latches to Miss Falls like an iron gut to a trebuchet. She accepted this painful role in order to keep the other citizens safe from the company's zapping, but she's reached the end of her rope. In a moment of desperation, Miss Falls fled Sprinkle Falls and is headed to Eureka Springs, a town known for its welcoming townsfolk. Unfortunately, she looked less like a scared pedestrian and more like a manic ruffian with stormy minions in tow. An unfortunate misunderstanding for everyone involved. It looks like Miss Falls has no choice but to defend herself. We have a crying, suffering, electrified water tower who is only coming to us for help and support, and we are going to knock her legs out and spill her water all over the board. The reason why this one's interesting is because you not only have her, who can be threatening but is really the good guy in this, and you have the company. The company will be attracted to anything with water on it, meaning yourself or meaning Miss Falls here. They will be moving around the board, zapping you after each one of the ruffians' turns, so you have these counterbalancing objectives. You want to avoid the company while taking down Miss Falls. She'll also be spreading and splashing water onto each character, and you have a big muddy ditch that can add water and make you damp as well, drawing the company's attention. Very fun fight. I'm excited to see this one as a final fight. I have not been able to see that yet, but it introduces some new abilities and new consequences. The company gets stronger, she gets more desperate, and everything gets a little bit crazier. So, thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Remember, less time watching means more time playing, and go support Townsfolk Tussle, because it really is just that good. We'll see you next time. Bye.